So hi guys, welcome back to the Ribe. Again, I'm Engineer HB and andito tayo ngayon sa part 2 ng pagsasagot sa topic ng springs. So let us start this one agad-agad. So a 3 extension coil springs are hooked in series that supports a single weight of 100 kilograms. The first spring is rated at 0.4 kilogram per mm and the other two lower is rated at 0.64 kilogram per mm. Compute for the total deflection. So hindi ko na lagay sa formula review itong type ng problem na ito. Pero ito, discuss na natin. Sabay na natin sa pagsagot. But before that, I'm going to draw the situation. So, kunyari naka-fix yung tatlong spring. So, magkakasama yan kasi ang nakalagay, ang sabi, series. So, maaaring ang drawing nila is ganito. So, maaaring konti lang yung isa and mahaba naman yung isa and the load is here. So, the load here is F or pwede nating sabing W. Pwede na ring F of 100 kilograms. So this is the first spring and this is the second and the third spring. So sabi sa first spring, so basta ganito ang drawing ng series, magkakasama. Kaya sabi are hook in series that supports a single weight of 100 kilograms. So the first spring is rated at 0.4 kilogram per mm. So pag sinabing rated, that was your spring constant. So that was 0.4 kilogram per mm. Sabi nating 1. So si second daw, the first spring is rated at 0.4 and the other two lower. So itong dalawa raw is rated, ibig sabihin parehas, at 0.64 kilogram per mm. So compute for the total deflection. So how are we going to answer this kind of problem? So unahin natin yung usapang force. Tingin niyo ba kapag series, i-divide sa kung ilang spring ang meron dun sa sinasalong weight? So, hindi. So, kapag series, kapag usapang force, ang force niya ay pare-parehas. Kung ano yung sinalo ni number 1 na spring, yun din ang sasaluhin ni F2 at yun din yung sasaluhin ni F3. Okay? So, ibig sabihin that was also equivalent to F. Hindi mo siya i-divide. Hindi siya porke tatlo, that was 100/3. No. Kung anong 100 kilograms dito, yung 100 kilograms sasaluhin ni 1, sasaluhin nito at sasaluhin ni 3. That's why in series, your forces is equal to each other. So, sabihin natin forces. Ayan. So, paano naman kapag what you call that? So, paano naman kapag deformation? So, kapag deformation naman, so, yan yung magiging summation ng lahat. So, paano? So, that was equivalent to, kung ang deformation is equal to F/K, so ang total, ibig sabihin is F1/K1 plus F2/K2 plus F3/K3. But remember that F1, F2, and F3 and so on and so forth is equal. Pwede natin siyang ilabas. So, pwedeng magiging F times 1/K1 plus 1/K2 plus 1/K3. In short, your deformation sa ganitong series situation is equal to F times summation of 1/K. Ayan. So, ang total deformation natin, since the question is looking for that, so pwede nating sabihin na total deflection is equal to 100 kilograms. So, nakalabas na si F times summation of K. So, that was 1/0.4 plus 1/0.64 plus 1/0.64. So, that was for 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So, ang unit niya ay nasa ilalim, kilogram per mm. So, magiging mm per kilogram. So, cancel si kilogram. So, the answer is in mm. So, the answer is total deflection is equal to 1/0.4 plus 1/0.64 plus 1/0.64. So, that was 100 kilograms times 5.2 625 mm per kilogram. So, kaya ako hindi na diniretso muna in order for you guys to see na ito yung equivalent na spring constant times natin sa F. Actually, the equivalent is 1 over 5.625 pero nireciprocal na natin kaya naging mm per kilogram. So, cancel si kilograms. So, the answer is 562.5 millimeters. So, pwede natin sabing 563. So, the answer is, ayan, exactly the same as letter A. So, the answer is letter A. Okay, so the second question is, compute for the deflections of an 18 coils helical spring having a load of 100 kilograms. The modulus of rigidity is 96.62 GPa, OD 9.256 cm, and with a wire diameter of 9.52 mm. The spring is squared and ground end. So, ito nga ba yung sinasabi ko nung first video ng spring? Ang karaniwang given talaga sa mga board exam na type ng spring is squared and ground end. So, take a time to remember the formulas no, sa mga solid height, free length, and whatsoever. So, we are looking for the deflection. Ayan. So, unahin muna natin. So, 18 coils. So, walang sinabi, ibig sabihin total yan. So, that was 18 coils. And, ano pa ba yung ibang given? With a load of 100 kilograms, the modulus of rigidity is 96.62 gigapascal. So, times 1,000 para maging megapascal. So, that was 96,620 megapascals. OD is equal to 9.256 cm. Siyempre, ang usapang metric, laging naka-mm yung mga problems. So, pwede natin i-times 10 because 10 mm is equal to 1 cm. So, that was 92.56 mm with a wire diameter of 9.525 mm. Anong 9.5 am? So, the spring is squared and grounded. So, para makumpit natin yung deflection, we all know that formula of deflection is equal to 8fc cube nc divided by gdw. So, given ba si F? 100 kilograms. Given ba si C? So, mamaya, pwede siguro dm over dw. So, nc, pwede natin makuha mamaya dito. G, given, dw given. So, everything is given. Isa-isayin natin. So, si C muna hanapin natin. So, that was dm over dw. And we all know that dw is 9.525 mm. And we all know that mean diameter, so walang mean diameter na given. Pero good thing may outside diameter na given. And we all know that outside diameter is equal to the sum of the mean diameter plus wire diameter. So pwede natin sabihin 92.56 minus 9.525, yun yung value ni dm. So that was 92.56 minus 9.525. So that was 83.035 mm. So 83.035 mm. So that was equal to, ang letters, ang spring index natin will be equivalent to 8.72 na natin. 72. So everything is given. Pwede nating substitute. But take note guys that NT ang given, pero NC ang hinahanap. And because it is squared and ground ends, for squared and ground ends, we all know that the formula for the total number of coils is equal to number of coils plus 2. Ibig sabihin kung 18 to, ibig sabihin ang NC natin is 16. Okay, so ayan, pwede nating rekta. So So the deflection is 8 times force of 100 kilograms. Times natin ng 9.81 para maging newtons. Newtons na yan. Because we all know that force is equal to mass times acceleration. So ito yung acceleration mo due to gravity. So kilogram times meter per second squared is equal to Newton. So that times C cube, which is dimensionless, times number of coils, which is 16, divided by G, which is 96,620 Newton per square millimeter, and wire diameter is 9.525 mm. So cancel si Newton, cancel ang isang mm, matitira isang mm. So expect that the answer is in mm. So that was 8 times 100 times 9.81 times 8.72 cube times 16 divided by 96,620 times 9.525. So the answer is 90.5 mm. So pwede natin sabihin 90 mm, and the closest answer, of course, letter B, 90 mm. Okay, so third question. All four compression coil spring support a load of 400 kilograms. The springs are arranged in parallel and have a uniform rate of 0.709 kilogram per mm. Compute the deflection in mm. So in this time naman, oil for compression coil spring. So this time naman, the setup is arranged in parallel, meaning ang drawing niyan ay pwedeng sabihin ganito, may isang spring diyan, meron ding sa loob, at meron pang isa, at meron pang isa. Okay, kung si series ay magkakatapat, yan. So si parallel parang ganyan din naman. Okay, so paano nga ba ang setup dito sa parallel? Okay. So paano natin masosolve yung parallel? So kapag sinabing usapang force, so kung meron diyang sinasalong force, okay, ibig sabihin, kung meron kang 4 na spring, paghahatian ng 4 na spring na yan, yung weight or yung force na in-apply. So it will become F is equal to F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F4. Meaning kung 100 kilos to, paghahatian nilang 4, so magiging 25 kilos ang sasaloy nila. So that was yung usapang forces. So how about the deflection? Kung ang deflection ng series ay additive, so ito naman is lahat sila ay pare-pareho. Okay, pare-pareha sila ng sinasalo. Pare-pareha sila ng magiging deflection. So imagine mo yan. Pagka-apply ng force F, so they are all equal. And of course, yung spring constant, na K is additive. Yan yung magiging additive. So if we are looking for the deflection, and we all know that it is equivalent to F over K. So that will become, pwede nating sabihin na yung total force na yan, kasi ito nga yung sinasalo niya. So that divided by equivalent KT. And in this case, so the numerator is 400 kilograms. So matik, hindi na natin kailangan hatiin sa 4. Kasi para yun na yung pinaka-total force na sinasalo nila. Ang kailangan lang natin yung pag-add yung 4. And ang sabi, uniform rate of 0.709, meaning sa 4 na yan, pare-pareha sila. And we may say that pwede natin i-times 4, yung 0.709. So cancel si kilograms, matitira si mm sa ilalim. So the answer is 400 divided by 4 times 0.709 sa ilalim. So the answer is 141.04 mm. So the answer is close to letter D. So ayan. So fourth video, item. A spring sustains 200 foot-pounds of energy with a deflection of 3 inches. Assume that the mean coil diameter is 7 times the wire diameter and that the allowable stress is 100 KSI. Determine the wire diameter. So the question is looking for the wire diameter. Pero may given na energy which is 200 foot-pounds. At kapag walang sinabi guys na exact type of energy, you may assume yung strain energy because strain energy lagi yung equivalent load kapag galing sa potential or kinetic. And we will know that the strain energy is equal to 1/2 times P times deformation. But we are looking for the wire diameter. Para saan kaya ito? So, pwede natin sabihin F alpha na lang. Or kung ano mong tawag dito sa sign ng deformation na ito. Alimutan ko na. So, kunin mo natin ibang given. So, ang sabi ang deflection is 3 inches. So, ang sabi, assume that the mean coil diameter is 7 times the wire diameter. So, if we're going to divide this both sides by dW, so ito yung magiging relation niya. And it has also equivalent, it is also equivalent to spring index of C, meaning si C is 7. And the allowable stress daw is 100 KSI. Sabihin natin 100,000 PSI or 100,000 pounds per square inch. So determine the wire diameter. So how are we going to answer that one? So paano natin makukuha si dW? We all know that the stress is also equivalent to 8 kFc over pi dW squared. So of course, given si SS. Si K, maaari natin makuha kasi may given na C. C, syempre given. Si F. So hindi pa siya given. And of course, we are looking for the wire diameter. Kulang na lang natin si F. How are we going to find this F? Remember na given si energy and it may also equate to 1/2 times force times deformation. So that was 200 foot-pounds is equal to 1/2 F times 3 inches. Sabihin na natin foot yan. 3 inches divided by 12 inches. So it will become foot. Cancel si foot. Matitira pounds. So the answer of F is equal to 200 times 12 divided by 2 divided by 3. So, mali. 200 times 2 times 12 divided 3. So that was 1,600. Oh my goodness. Pounds. Ayan. So ayan, pwede nating rekta na dito. So that was 8 times K. So sabihin natin ang K natin is 4 times 7 minus 1. 4 times 7 minus 4 plus 6.615 over 7. 8K, so that was K. 8KF. So what is that F? 1,600 pounds times C, which is 7 divided by pi dW squared. So pounds cancel. dW squared is equal inches squared, square root mo. We're going to expect the answer in inches, so that was correct. So isa-isayin natin. Si K muna para hindi mahirapan. So 7 ang C. So that was 1.213. So that was 8 times answer times 16 times 7 divided by pi divided by 100,000. Then square root. So the answer is 0.588 inches. So meron bang kamukhang answer? Ayan, obviously the answer is letter D. Okay, so last two questions. So meron tayong 6 items for the part 2. So number 5. So a spring with squared and ground ends. So ayan, square and ground ends na naman given. Has a pitch of 20 mm and a wire diameter of 20.5 mm. If there are 12 actual number of coils, So if there are 12 actual number of coils, so determine the deflection of the spring at solid height. So paano natin gagawin to? So sabi, determine the deflection of the spring at solid height. So paano natin makukuha itong solid height? Okay, okay. So solid height, yan ang tinatanong. Hindi ako kung di ako nagkakamali. Ayan. And way back on the formula review, meron tayong spring na may free length. Kunyari, nakatenga lang yung spring mo. At may lumapag na force. So that was your compressed length. And syempre, may mas malakas o may massive force na kayang pipiin yung spring. More than you can imagine. That was the F solid. So, that was the solid. And this is your solid height. So, ibig sabihin, yung free length is equal to compressed length plus deformation. And it also equivalent to solid deformation plus solid height. And paano natin makukuha si deformation ng solid? So, meron tayong what you call that. So it may also equivalent to free length is equal to solid deformation plus solid height. And since ang given ay squared and ground, meron tayong formula way back on our first video ng number of coils, free length, solid height for each of the type of the end nung spring. And since this is squared and ground, may formula yan ng free length at may formula yan ng solid height. So basically, solid deformation is equal to free length minus solid height. At ang free length kapag usapang squared and ground, so the free length is equal to pitch times number of coils plus 2W. At ang solid height is equal to wire diameter times NC plus 2. And syempre, isa-isay natin kung may mga given ba yan. So unahin natin ang sabi. Ang sabi has a pitch of 20 mm and a wire diameter of 12.5 mm. If there are 12 actual number of coils, so pag sinabing actual, that was the total. And we all know kapag squared and grounds, that was equivalent to NC plus 2. So ibig sabihin, we may use or we may find the NC by subtracting 2 to 12. So that was 10. So that was unitless, no? Yan. So meron na tayong P, meron tayong NC, meron na tayong DW. So everything is direct substitution na. So our solid deflection is equal to free length. So that was PNC plus 2DW. So that was equivalent to 20 times number of coils, which is 10 plus twice ng wire diameter. So that was minus DW NC plus 2. So that was DW is 12.5 times NC plus 2, which is 10 plus 2. So that was, simple math na lang to siguro, 20 times 10, 200 plus 12.5 times 2. So that was 225 minus 12 times 12.5. So dito tayo magkakatala. So 125 plus twice ng 12.5. So that was what you call that. Calculate na natin. Nagmamayabang pa kasi tayo mag-mental eh. 12.5 times 12. So that was 150 mm. Kasi nga naman, kung 10, 125 plus twice ng 12.5. So under 25. So that was 150 nga, tama. So 225 minus 150. So that was 75 mm. So the solid height or the solid deformation is 75 mm. So the answer is obviously letter C. Again, so yan, last question. A weight of 100 pounds strikes a coil spring from a height of 18 inches and deflects the spring by 6 inches. Find the maximum applied or force applied to the spring. So, assuming meron tayong spring dito at may lumapag na 100 pounds. So, that was your H. And syempre napipi. So, may deformation na naganap. So, 100 pounds. So, ibig sabihin, ang mangyayari dito ay potential energy is equal to strain energy. And that was equal to weight times height plus deformation. Kasi yan yung binagsak. Height plus deformation is equal to strain energy, which is 1/2 P times deformation. And since we're looking for the maximum force, hindi yan yung 100 pounds. Ang tinutukoy niyan is yung equivalent load, which is yun yung letter P natin. And it will be direct sub basta umayon sa lahat ng units. So, ayan. Ang W mo is 100 pounds. Ang H natin ay from a height of 18 inches. Plus deformation. And deflects 6 inches. So, ayan. So, this will become pounds inch. Pounds ito, inches ito. That will become 1/2 times P times deformation, which is 6 inches again. So, cancel si inches, matitira pounds. So, exactly what are we looking for? The answer is in pounds. So, that was 100 times 24 kasi 18 plus 6. Times 2 natin divide 6. So, the answer is 800 pounds. That is the maximum force applied to the spring. So, the answer is obviously exactly at letter B. So, ayun lang guys. So, for the last item ng part 2 ng spring. So, salamat sa pakikinig guys. And ayun, subscribe to my video. So, sana po na-appreciate yung effort ko sa pag-discuss ng formulas at sa pagsagot ng past board exam problem. So, please continue to support my channel. Nandito rin yung page sa ating description box. So, ayan, please expect na next week meron tayo agad na chapter 9. So, machine design. So, this year, we're going to, ayan, pilitin natin matapos lahat ng topics sa machine design. So, next year, we may forward to another subject. So, ayan, please subscribe sa aking channel and please share to your friends at pati na rin sa co-review group mo. And thank you again and God bless sa inyong review, guys. Salamat. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.